Okay, hi. We're really glad to be with you again. And what we want to talk about today is the difference between health and convenience. In the last 30 to 50 years, the food industry has given us so many convenient foods that are processed and or you get from a drive-through, these fast food restaurants. And when we process food, we strip the nutrients away from it. So, is it any wonder what's happened to health in North America? Way down. And what we want to show you is if you shift to eating higher nutrient dense foods, that gives the body what it needs to thrive. And when the body thrives, it regenerates, it restores health. So last week, I think it was, we told you start to make this shift by adding high nutrient dense leafy greens to what you eat and see what changes. This week, we're going to recommend you take another step, that you drop an inflammatory food group for a week and see what happens to the body.
Yeah, so maybe we should go over the inflammatory food groups. So you get to choose from these.
Yeah. So there's caffeine, there's meat, dairy, the oils that come in a bottle, most of those are inflammatory. We do recommend avocado oil as a cooking oil, but to use very, very little. What else? Processed foods.
Processed foods and sugar.
Yeah, sugar foods.
Yeah.
So give that a go and see what you learn from your body's wisdom. It will start talking to you.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know how things are going.
Good.
Yeah, good. So along the lines of this shift from convenience, what did you say?
Convenience to health.
Convenience to health, yeah. Comparing the convenience to health and the changes that have occurred over the years. I know I grew up with a meat and potato diet. That's what my family ate. Everybody ate.
We did too.
Yeah, and the medical problems that my parents had as a result, and what was actually beginning to occur for me as I was, following that diet. And then at one point, actually in my 20s, I really thought I should do something different and eat differently. And so I changed to a vegetarian diet. But when I met Connie in my 30s, I had developed so much arthritic pain. It was difficult. I've told this story many times, but playing volleyball competitively, I had to hold both handrails just to walk down the stairs after a weekend tournament.
Yeah.
And so she suggested I make a shift from what I thought was a much healthier diet from what I had grown up with to a high nutrient dense diet, and it made all the difference.
Okay, well, we want to talk now about 3 types of diets. Compare them so you can see the nutrient value in each one.
Right, so I'm going to share my screen. It'll take me just a second to get to everything that I want to show you so that you can see it quite graphically. This is the first chart I want to show you, and it's kind of a comparison of what we call the standard American diet or the SAD diet and the MAD diet, the modified or moderate diet, and the high nutrient dense diet. So the SAD diet, when I was growing up, it was the classic bacon and eggs with potatoes, toast and jam, coffee and cream. Well, I didn't as a child have coffee and cream, but that was certainly what the adults were doing. And so when I wanted to shift from my traditional diet, I went to granola and yogurt, and started drinking green tea instead, and thought that was a big shift. But like I said, I was still developing some conditions that were of concern to me. So when I met Connie, we made the full shift. I made the full shift, she already had, to a high nutrient dense diet, which was something on the line of like green smoothies, where we'd have a lot of greens every morning. We'd have fresh fruit and maybe some whole grains. And literally in a matter of a few weeks, I noticed a huge change. And within a few months, it was like 80, 90% gone.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. If we give the body what causes it to thrive, because the body is always regenerating and making healthier and healthier cells if we give it nutrients to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's certainly been my experience. And we've seen that experience with hundreds, over 1,000 people that we've worked with. And it seems to work every time.
Yeah, it's true,
Because,
regardless.
yes, it's a principle. The body is designed to regenerate, and it will if we give it what it needs.
Well, I think you said it well the other day. It's truth. It's the truth of what the body needs to really regenerate and become more and more healthy and more energized.
Yeah, right. So we're going to give you a link to this chart and another one I'm going to show you, but you can see, just take a quick look at the difference between the snacks and the lunches and the dinners. It keeps shifting from real processed, meat and dairy oriented foods to high nutrient dense foods.
And high nutrient dense foods are whole. They're how nature created them.
Right. So just to give you a little more of a graphic of how these three diets stack up, I'll show you these same things in terms of that came out a lot bigger than I meant. How do I get it down?
There we go. It's not hard.
That's not too bad. Okay, let's go there. So this is a pie chart of the same meals that we just talked about. And you can see how in the SAD diet, the standard American diet, there's very few high nutrient dense whole foods. It's basically processed foods.
Yeah, and meat and dairy.
And meat and dairy.
And the MAD diet, what happens there?
Well, we more than double the high nutrient dense foods, but it's still less than 20% of the diet.
Wow.
Yeah. And processed is still like
Lots.
43 and dairy's 38. So we drop the meat, but there's still the dairy component, which is very inflammatory. Then we come down to the high nutrient dense diet, 98%.
Yeah.
And the only thing in the diet that we were recommending was umeboshi vinegar and olive oil. Those are processed.
And now we don't even use olive oil. We make our own dressing from nuts and seeds, lemon juice, water, garlic cloves, nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
So, and a bit of vinegar too.
Yeah,
apple cider or other vinegars.
We're actually finding we enjoy those more than the traditional umi and olive oil we've done so for so many years.
Yeah, and those recipes are on the recipe tab above. Just look up sauces and dressings and you'll find them and can try them out. See what your body says. Let your body be your guide.
Right. Okay, so we will send you links to these charts so you can see them. But that's basically what we wanted to share today, was how our trend toward convenience, as our lives have gotten busier and busier, has had a big impact on health in North America and actually all of the developed countries.
Yes, and it's so easy to shift. So remember, to make a step, start eating dark leafy greens, kale, collards, bok choy, chard, spinach, arugula, parsley, cilantro, cabbage, and the leafy lettuces and romaine. Step 2, drop an inflammatory food group and see what your body says. It will thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what we coach people on our classes. We've just started another 6-week class. If you'd be interested in knowing about the next class that's coming up, just let us know. And
Recipe. Yeah, Bill made a great healthy carrot cake. So a great healthy dessert made from garbanzo beans, carrots, raisins, flax. So yummy.
Don't get scared about garbanzo beans being the base of this carrot cake. It does not taste like garbanzo beans.
Not at all.
But I tell you, it is so nutritional. When I go out, I'll sometimes have a little thing after a meal, like a carrot cake or something, and it's like the taste is like, oh, that's so great, but my body's going, why did you do this? With the sugar and the flour and everything.
But you haven't done that for a long time.
It's been a long time, but I remember.
Sure.
And now, I'll have this piece of carrot cake that I just made, and my body is like saying, thank you. That was delicious, and it really supported me.
So give us a comment below if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time and attention. Make a shift to high nutrient dense whole foods and see how your body thanks you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.